The opening weekend of the 2025-26 Premier League season had everything we've come to expect from the world's most thrilling competition: breathless drama, star-studded brilliance, and a fair share of controversy, once again proving why English football reigns supreme. At Anfield, Liverpool delivered an emotional 4-2 victory over Bournemouth. Before a ball was even kicked, the stadium fell silent, paying tribute to Diogo Jota in a moving minute of remembrance. On the pitch, Arne Slot made his intentions clear: an attacking lineup, hungry for goals, and his players repaid that faith almost instantly. Debutant Hugo Ekitike opened the scoring with a clinical finish before Cody Gakpo doubled the lead with a thunderous strike. It felt like game over, but Bournemouth had other ideas. Fighting back with spirit and defiance, Antoine Semenyo stole the spotlight. Targeted with racist abuse from sections of the crowd, he turned pain into power, scoring twice to drag his side level. It was a remarkable show of character, football as resistance, football as defiance. Yet Liverpool's quality ultimately told. With the game hanging in the balance, Federico Chiesa produced a breathtaking volley in the 88th minute, and Mohamed Salah sealed the win with trademark ruthlessness. After the final whistle, Slot condemned the racist abuse in no uncertain terms, insisting there can be no place for such behavior in football, least of all at Anfield. Captain Virgil van Dijk admitted the win mattered, but conceded that defensive lapses, especially against counterattacks, remain a concern. From the Bournemouth camp, Adam Smith backed his teammate Semenyo, both condemning the incident and hailing his remarkable courage. Meanwhile, Manchester City wasted no time reminding the league of their dominance, dismantling Wolves 4-0 away from home. This was a masterclass in both tactics and individual brilliance. New signing Tijani Reinders announced himself in style, first with the opening goal after an Oscar Bob assist, then turning provider for Erling Haaland to make it 2. The Norwegian striker was, as ever, unstoppable, completing his brace early in the second half. Off the bench, Rayan Cherki added the finishing touch with a coolly taken strike, rounding off a statement victory. Before kickoff, both teams paused to honor the memory of Diogo Jota and his brother, Andreu Silva, in a touching moment of unity. Afterward, Pep Guardiola downplayed the result, warning that one win guarantees nothing. Reinders, however, could barely hide his joy. A dream debut, capped with a goal, an assist, and the perfect start to life in sky blue. Change was in the air at Tottenham, and under Thomas Frank, Spurs looked reborn. A convincing 3-0 win over Burnley set the tone for a new era in North London. The night belonged to Richarlison. The Brazilian striker opened the scoring with a thunderous header before sending the stadium into raptures with a stunning overhead kick, an audacious finish that will live long in the highlight reels. New signing Mohamed Kudus wasted no time showing his quality, notching 2 assists in just 60 minutes, a clear sign of how quickly he's settling into English football. Frank also placed his trust in youth, handing opportunities to Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall, both of whom looked mature beyond their years. After the game, the Danish coach was full of praise for Richarlison, not just for his goals, but for the way he knitted the attack together, while stressing that the team's sharpness is the product of meticulous preseason preparation. But the true headline clash of the weekend came at Old Trafford, where Manchester United suffered a painful 1-0 defeat to Arsenal. The only goal of the game arrived in the 13th minute, when Ricardo Calafiori pounced after a poorly dealt corner by goalkeeper Altay Bayindir. United pushed hard, 22 shots, plenty of possession, but they simply couldn't break down Arsenal's defensive wall, with William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes standing like giants at the back. Despite the loss, United boss Ruben Amorim struck an optimistic tone, pointing to the spirit and tactical cohesion that showed his side can compete at the highest level. He framed the defeat as a reminder of where improvements are still needed. Mikel Arteta, meanwhile, admitted Arsenal were far from their fluent best, but insisted that 3 points at Old Trafford are proof of his team's growing maturity. Debate raged long after the final whistle, with fans online arguing over whether Arsenal had deliberately crowded Bayindir during set pieces. At Stamford Bridge, frustration reigned as Chelsea were held to a goalless draw by Crystal Palace. The Blues dominated the ball, racked up 19 shots, yet couldn't find a way through Palace's resolute defense. VAR added another layer of controversy, chalking off what looked like a brilliant Eberechi Eze goal for what many considered an overly rigid technical decision. Enzo Maresca tried to look on the bright side, praising the hunger of young players like Estevao and Andre Santos. Across the dugout, Oliver Glasner hailed his squad's resilience and doubled down on his message. Eberechi Eze remains a vital part of Crystal Palace's future. The surprises didn't stop there. Aston Villa dug deep to hold Newcastle to a gritty 0-0 draw, despite going down to 10 men when Ezri Konsa saw red in the 66th minute. A result that felt more like a moral victory than a stalemate. Brighton thought they had all 3 points in the bag, only for Rodrigo Muniz to strike late and rescue a draw for Fulham. Elsewhere, newly promoted Sunderland made a statement on their Premier League return, dismantling West Ham 3-0 in front of a jubilant home crowd. Nottingham Forest impressed with a 3-1 win over Brentford, while Leeds United marked their top-flight comeback with late drama, edging Everton 1-0 thanks to a Lucas Nmecha penalty. But beyond the goals and glory, the opening weekend was overshadowed by heated debates over refereeing decisions and the ever-controversial role of VAR. At Old Trafford, Manchester United fans were left fuming. Arsenal's winning goal stood despite protests that William Saliba had obstructed goalkeeper Altay Bayindir during the corner. VAR reviewed it, but the goal was given, sparking a firestorm of anger. Later, Matthias Cunha appeared to be brought down by Saliba in the box, yet both the referee and VAR waved play on. Some pundits insisted it was a stonewall penalty, others argued there wasn't enough evidence. To make matters worse, United supporters accused Arsenal of exploiting the new 8-second rule for goalkeepers by swarming Bayindir at every set piece, branding it bending the law rather than clever tactics. At Stamford Bridge, frustration boiled over when Eberechi Eze's goal was chalked off for what many called a robotic interpretation of the law. Mark Guehi judged to be standing too close to Chelsea's defensive wall. Technically correct, yes, but fans and pundits alike slammed the decision as soulless, killing the magic of the game. It was also the first time VAR announcements were broadcast live over the stadium loudspeakers, but with poor audio leaving fans confused, boos quickly followed. And at Elland Road, Everton felt hard done by when James Tarkowski was penalised for handball in the 84th minute, gifting Leeds the match-winning penalty. David Moyes raged at the inconsistency, pointing to identical situations elsewhere that went unpunished. Tarkowski himself admitted he couldn't understand the referee's explanation, that he had, "The ball is allowed to hit your arm. It just can't be away from your body unnaturally. I don't understand it, really." The language left players, managers, and fans baffled. One thing is clear: the Premier League's opening weekend delivered breathtaking football, but the confusion around the laws and their application only added to the chaos. For better or worse, the drama isn't just on the pitch, it's in the rulebook too. After just one round, the Premier League table already carries a few surprises. Manchester City sit top with a ruthless goal difference, while newly promoted Sunderland stunned everyone by climbing into second place. Tottenham round out the top three after a flying start. Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, Arsenal, and Leeds United also collected maximum points, while familiar names like Manchester United and West Ham were left empty-handed, stumbling right out of the gate. The race for the Golden Boot has already taken shape, with 4 big names sharing the spotlight after bagging braces: Antoine Semenyo, Erling Haaland, Richarlison, and Chris Wood. Tottenham's new signing, Mohamed Kudus, leads the assist charts with 2, while City's Oscar Bob and debutant Tijani Reijnders have also made their mark. Based on standout performances, the team of the week in a 4-4-2 formation looks like this. Goalkeeper, David Raya, Arsenal. 7 saves, a brick wall at Old Trafford, and the main reason Arsenal walked away with a clean sheet. Defenders, Ola Aina, Nottingham Forest, Daniel Ballard, Sunderland; Matthijs de Ligt, Manchester United; Rayan Ait-Nouri, Manchester City. A backline full of grit and impact. Ballard, in particular, marked Sunderland's return to the top flight with a crucial opening goal. Midfielders: Mohamed Kudus, Tijani Reinders, Pape Matar Sarr, Antoine Semenyo. Creativity, power, and end product in equal measure. Kudus with 2 assists, Reinders with a goal and an assist on debut, Sarr dominating the duels, and Semenyo producing 2 goals in a game charged with emotion. Forwards: Richarlison, Tottenham, and Chris Wood, Nottingham Forest, both strikers with doubles that set the tone, Richarlison dazzling with his overhead kick, and Wood finishing with the icy composure we've come to expect. Round 1 made one thing crystal clear. The Premier League remains the most unforgiving stage in world football, where surprises lurk in every fixture, heroes emerge from the unexpected, and every match writes its own unforgettable story.